Hey everyone, my name is Chloe and welcome to the start of another vlog. So right now I have 4 arcs that are coming out either at the end of October, or November. And now the one in the end of October, truthfully, I was approved like recently for it because you guys, I am a rule follower, and like NetGalley, I have to be very, very careful because I have to read them by the publication date. Like, I don't know. It's like a OCD compulsion thing, like, or just a rule follower type A thing. I don't know what it is, but like, the thought of like going past the pub date freaks me out. And so this one was from October 27th, but I like got it and read it immediately because I don't like being late. So there's 4 books, 3 are off NetGalley, and 1 I was sent directly from the author. And so this week, these couple days, whatever, I am just going to try to read these 4 books. So there's 2 Christmas books and 2 thrillers. So I am just loving it because if you guys saw, I just finished binging what is out of the Wildstone series by Jill Shalvis. So I've kind of been in that romance women's fiction world, and now I am ready to jump into something else in Christmas and thrillers. So I'm also in the middle of this phase, I guess, where I am like reading so much. And like I'm reading way more than I'm updating. And I think the reason is because like to update, I have to be like either kid free or kidnapping or something. Otherwise, it would just be a nightmare. You guys would just see children everywhere and yelling and talking. And my 2-year-old, I think she just never stops talking. And my 5-month-old now like responds in her own little baby talk. And so I am like, what's going to happen when they're tweens and they're both girls? And I don't know, moms of girls, tell me it's going to be okay. It's going to be noisy and I love it. Their sweet little voices are great, but it makes filming really, really hard. Reading, however, I have just been on a tear. So there's 4 books and you guys, I've already read 2. And the reason is like, I ended my last vlog yesterday afternoon, I think. And so then nap time, I picked up one of the Christmas ones and read it by bedtime. And then bedtime, I started one of the thrillers and read it by this morning. So they're good things. Let's just get into what I read. So the first one is Wrapped Up in Christmas Joy, and that is by Janice Lynn, and that's the one that came out October 27th. And now this one is a NetGalley book, and it's by Hallmark Publishing. And so I'm assuming it's either a movie that already exists or it's going to be a movie. That's typically how the Hallmark Publishing works. And I don't know that I've ever like read and watched, because you guys know I'm terrible at watching movies like in their entirety at all. And so what I have heard though is that the books are like literal word for word what the movie is. And oftentimes the movie will come first and then they will like adapt it to a book, and it's just literally like the screenplay. And so if you watch the movie, reading the book is often tedious, is what I've heard. I don't know that for sure, but I really wanted to read this one because I am watching a lot of Hallmark Christmas movies. I don't typically watch them start to finish, but just because of my attention span is not great, and a lot of times I'll watch like in the middle of the night. But this is a Hallmark movie, book, I'm assuming movie, I don't know, but it is about a girl named Sophie. She owns a quilt shop, and a guy named Cole. Cole is a former Marine, I think. He is former military, and he is now a firefighter. So somebody brings a box of books into Sophie's quilt shop, and so she goes through it and sees that there is this journal, and it is Cole's journal from his time. I think he was deployed, but for sure his time in the military. And he went through a lot of things, and he got rid of the journal because he did not want to like carry that with him. And so she does not know Cole, so she read the journal, diary, whatever it was, and is very like intrigued. So then she meets Cole and finds out it's his diary, and he is like instantly like, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want anything to do with a relationship. I don't want to do anything with this journal. Like, I'm out. But they have to work together on a like a toy donation fundraiser thing for their community. So they're like forced to work together. It's 100% a small town grumpy sunshine story. She is very sunshine, very all about Christmas. He is very grumpy and very like, what do I have to do? And that's all I'm going to do. And so it's their story. Now, my complaints, I gave this 3 stars, and my complaints about the book are just that Cole is so grumpy. And like, he has been through some trauma. He's definitely got some PTSD and some things that aren't like outwardly addressed, but his reasons for being grumpy make sense, but it's too extreme. Like, he is just a jerk. I mean, the majority of the book, he is just a jerk. And it's not fun to read about. And Sophie, it like kind of reminded me of like a little puppy that's like, be my friend, be my friend, be my friend. And it got annoying. Like, I wish just would have like been like, all right, dude, we're going to be in the same space because we have to for this toy drive, but I'm like not going to try to engage with you. Or she could have told him like, pull the stick out. I don't know. I did not like that dynamic. And so the romance was just meh for me. I don't really have any desire to watch the movie if there is one. I just think there are better Christmas books, but if you like Grumpy Sunshine, you might like this one because, of course, they do get their happily ever after. It's a Christmas romance. If you like small town Christmas, it does have a fair amount of Christmas feel, so I don't know. One thing about this book that really confuses me, and so if you guys know, let me know. There's a book called Wrapped Up in Christmas, not Wrapped Up in Christmas Joy, but Wrapped Up in Christmas by the same author with a very, very, very similar cover. Like, it's the exact same, except the like banner thing at the bottom is a different pattern. And the synopsis is different. It's different characters. And so are they the same? Like, what's that about? I don't know, and the other one has come out before, and a lot of people have read it, so I don't know what that's about, but if you know, let me know, because I know a lot of my friends have read Wrapped Up in Christmas, but not Wrapped Up in Christmas Joy, so I don't know, that's weird. So then the other book that I read was also a NetGalley book, and this one is from NetGalley and Bookator. I'm not sure how to say that publisher name, but hopefully I didn't butcher it. And it's called The Stranger in My Bed. And this one is about Freya and Phil. And so the book opens with a really interesting like diary letter or something from somebody saying that they are watching Phil and they stripped the brakes in his car. And so they are watching him going down this hill, like gonna get hit by a truck. And it's very British, so they are talking about like lorries, and I forget like what a Band-Aid is, plasters, different, like a few different things that I had to look up. Like, I didn't know what a lorry was, and I got what a plaster is based on the context, but a lot of very British words, and I love that. I just think it's charming, and I like plaster makes sense for a Band-Aid, but it's just interesting, like why we all speak English, obviously a different version of English, but why don't we have more similar language? I don't know. Anyway, so it's about Freya and Phil. It starts with this letter of somebody saying this happened, and then he doesn't die, but he instead is in a hospital with no memory of the last 2 years. And Freya and Phil have only been married 2 years, so his last memory is like when they, like the day they came home from their honeymoon. So he thinks he came home from their honeymoon, got in this wreck, and now it's like 3 days later. He's been in the hospital, so he thinks they have been home for like 4 days. Well, as the story goes on, we find out that Phil was a very, 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 very abusive husband. And so he's now like shocked that he treated her this way. And so as the reader, we're kind of like, did he change? Like, is he now a good guy? Is it just a matter of time until he snaps? Or is it completely an unreliable narrator and he remembers a lot more than he's letting on? I don't know. And we get perspectives from both Freya and Phil, and I really liked that. So I gave this book 4 stars. But let me preface that by saying it is very predictable, I would say. There are like twists and turns that happen along the way. And for me, I am the type of thriller reader that I like to just enjoy the ride. I don't try to guess anything at all. Just because I don't know, like for some reason I can just kind of I don't know. I'm not good at guessing, and like I don't even try. So I just read it and like encounter the bumps and twists as they come. And so I really enjoyed it. I was looking at some of the reviews because it's got like a 3.5 or less, and it comes out November 23rd. And so I was reading some of the reviews, and I think it was just that the twists were so easy to predict. And I would agree with that for sure, that, there's a sister relationship that goes on, and there's just a lot of mentions of things that it all comes together in the end, and you could see how it all came together. And if you were somebody who was good at guessing, I think you would probably guess. But if you like, there's a relatively small cast of characters. It's pretty simple and straightforward. The writing style is great. I read it all overnight, and this one I actually read with my eyes on ebook, but I didn't do any sort of text to speech or anything because I was just scrolling through, turning pages so fast. It is a very good writing style, so I'd be very interested to see more from this author. And like I said, for me as a thriller reader who likes to just enjoy the ride, not worried about guessing, predictable is not a deal breaker for me. I really liked it. So 4 stars on that. So now the next one that I'm going to read is The Mistletoe Connection by Chelsea Pennington. And she reached out to me and said, hey, this is my debut, and it's about 10 people, I think, all stuck in the Denver airport on Christmas Eve. And I love that trope, you guys. I love the stuck in an airport trope because I just think it's so interesting. It's a confined space, but then everybody is a little different when you travel. And I think I've talked about it before. I traveled a lot before kids and before I met my husband and that kind of stuff. And it's always just a fun adventure. And so if you meet somebody, it's they're from somewhere different, and it's exciting, and it's just a different, it's just a different excitement level and stuff. And so being trapped in the airport, not exciting. It gets dull really quick. But I think it's really interesting to see how people act. So I don't know if it's short stories that are all kind of connected. I'm 4-5 pages in. I barely read any of it, so I don't know. And that one came out yesterday, November 10th. I meant to get to it sooner, and I didn't. And so that one is November 10th, and so far so good. Really liking it, and that's it. So I will leave the last one as a mystery. You guys will know it's a thriller because I'm on my second Christmas, and I've read one thriller. So it is another thriller that is on Galley, but you'll find out later in this vlog what it is. So that is that. Today is Wednesday, which means Jeremy's off, which is wonderful. The girls slept in again. They slept in yesterday. I had to wake Ainsley up at 9 o'clock, and today she woke up at 8:50. And so she just finished breakfast at 10:15, 10:30. So that kind of throws off our day, but it's okay. We have nothing going on today, except somebody is coming here in 45 minutes to look at our deck. Because we fenced in our yard and we're going to build stairs off of our deck. And we got temporary stairs, and then we had to pull a permit, but the city shut down. This was all in February or something, and the city shut down, obviously, for COVID, and so the permit didn't get pulled, and yada, yada, yada. Here we are 9 months later, still with temporary stairs. So somebody is coming to look at that at 11:30. Ainsley is the chiropractor. I don't know if Jeremy or I will take her. I don't know. Yesterday, this is the longest clip. I'm so sorry. But yesterday I did end the vlog, I think earlier in the day, because my friend does cranial sacral therapy. And I have talked about it in one of my vlogs. I think I have had a headache for 5 or 6 days, and it's constantly there and edges into migraine territory every once in a while. And I am a long-term migraine sufferer, but it's a different ballgame when you have kids. And normally, if I throw up and sleep, I'm good. That's not the case with this one. I just constantly have this headache. So she came and worked on me, and I've never had cranial sacral energy work or any of that kind of thing done. But you guys, it was so cool. Like, if that's an option for you, or if you've got like anything like this going on, I would say definitely check it out, because it's not a massage, it's not an adjustment, but like it almost felt like if you have a headache and you put counter pressure, like that feels really good. And it feels like she was like doing that, but she was like barely touching me, and it was like weird tingles, and I don't know. And it made me really, really congested, which she said maybe it like just loosened things up, so finally stuff can come out, like maybe allergy things. I don't know. But then I took a nap and woke up and the headache was gone. And so now it's just like I have a very, very dull headache, but it's pretty much gone. And so double thumbs up for that if you can do that. But that's it. So then I read nap time and blah, 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 blah. That's it. I will check in later when I have finished the Mistletoe Connection. Okay, you guys, please ignore the disaster zone that is behind me. But today is Thursday, and it's like almost 2 o'clock. We are just in the living room doing a couple things before nap time, and I thought I'd get on and let you know I finished the Mistletoe Connection by Chelsea Pennington, and I loved this. I was shocked. So, I mean, not that like I expected not to like it, but it's about 10 people who are stuck in the Denver airport on Christmas Eve. And normally I don't like short stories. So I was like, if it's a short story, if it's not done well, 10 characters is a lot. And this is also a debut. So I'm like, And the author had approached me and asked me if I'd be willing to read it. And so I said, yes, definitely. And I am so glad I did. I'm giving it a 4.5 stars. So all of the stories are intertwined, and like some of the 10 characters, there's like a family of 4, and they're all just like all of the stories overlap, and and it's not like you visit one story, then go to another, then go to another. Like you go back and forth between all the different people, and it was so easy to keep track of, and all of them were very distinct and had different stories going on, and I just loved it. If you're looking for like a snowed in vibe, this is it. If you're looking for like travel adventures, this is it. It's so fun, and I loved it. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you pick it up. I think it's pretty cheap on ebook, and like I said, it's a debut author. She's super sweet. I've talked to her just a couple times, but she's super sweet, and I give her some love because this is great. Like, I am very, very, very impressed. The only reason it's not a 5-star for me is because some of the characters' ages, and I'm talking mostly about Landry and Risa, their storyline. It was really hard to tell their ages. Like, it mentions that they were together in school, and then I think it said that was like 10 years ago. So presumably these people are like late 20s, but they read relatively YA. In fact, pretty YA. And I would say the majority of this book is YA. Because the family of 4, there's 3 kids, and then so you're getting their stories, and then you're getting one of the girls who works at one of the snack shops, and so it's pretty much YA. We do have an adult storyline going on, and the other thing about it is like the adult storyline especially is something pretty significant that they have going on. And it's just kind of like surface level addressed. It's not a super deep dive, and that is okay. Like for me, for what this was for a holiday fun book, it definitely accomplished that. So I would highly recommend pick this up. I cannot wait to see what else she comes out with, and so far I really enjoy her work. And so that was book 3 of the 4 that I'm trying to read right now. So the last one that I'm reading is Her Sister's Child. And I try not to read a whole lot about this because it is a thriller. And so it's a cover click on Galley. And I just like saw the cover, thought it looked really cute. Or not cute, but like the cover looked really intriguing. And so I am just getting into that. And this is about a girl, like it's one perspective from a girl who her sister has died. I think she was like a druggie or an alcoholic or something and died, but may or may not have had a baby. And then a teenage girl who is pregnant. And so, and I think there's maybe a third perspective that's going to come into it or something. I don't know. I'm just barely into that at all. So those are the books. As far as life stuff goes, this morning was like very anxiety ridden for me because Ainsley and I had dentist appointments, and I don't mind going to the dentist at all. I like, actually, now that I'm a mom, kind of enjoy it because it's just like quiet lay down time. And however, you are supposedly supposed to start taking kids around 3, and she'll be 3 at the very, very end of January. And my appointment is like now November, and then not again until May. And so I was like, well, let's try it now. She's a very good girl, and so I figured, she would be better to be a little bit younger. That's fine. So the appointment's at 9, and Ainsley has been sleeping in till 9. So already I'm like anxious about it. Well, so I, like, both kids are sleeping in, and so then I'm like, gosh, I have to feed Annie and get everybody fed and blah, 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 blah. So then I ended up going by myself, and then Jeremy met me there, and he ended up giving me both kids because we only have one car seat, and so we couldn't, like, we had to completely switch cars. So I had him wait until I was done because otherwise I couldn't really take care of Annie while I'm getting my teeth done. So then Ainsley did hers, and she did great. She was super brave, and I thought like it might stress her out a little bit, and it kind of did, I think, but they let her pick a toy and a toothbrush, and then I had a special little book for her, so she did really good, and it was like a lot of anxiety for nothing. But that being said, now I'm like kind of like coming down off the anxiety high where I'm like tired, and clearly we're all a little tired. So I think I'm gonna go do nap time, and I will get back on and let you know when I read more of Her Sister's Child. Hey everyone, my name is Chloe, and as you will see, Christmas has come to my library room, and I'm so excited about it. So this morning, Ainsley and I just went crazy, like cleaning, organizing, all of that kind of stuff. It was like 28 degrees this morning, and it's starting to warm up now, but it's still like in the 40s, and so it has just been a cold day. So we decided to organize, and we have a playroom in the basement and a living room that is meant to be like a living room, and I said I did not want it to be a playroom, but it has kind of like turned it, like stuff has migrated up the stairs, and now our living room was just a mess, as you guys have seen probably multiple times. Like, there's just toys everywhere, and we pick them up, but there's still just too much stuff. So we took everything back down in the basement, cleared everything off the floor, vacuumed the whole house, got this tree up, put lights on it, got a different tree fixed that the lights were dead, and we just have been doing stuff all morning. But then at like 10:30 or 11, I started getting like really nauseous and lightheaded, and I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm getting my thyroid rechecked next week because I just feel very like easily exhausted. And so then we kind of like, I kept going for a little bit, and then I was like kind of nervous that I was going to pass out. So we went and just watched Mickey and relaxed and ate some lunch, and that kind of helped. But pretty soon I am going to go take a nap because just not feeling my best. But last night or this morning sometime, I finished the last in this four arc vlog. So I finished Her Sister's Child, and I'm giving it 3 stars. And I wanted to DNF this book at so many points, and I just didn't because it was a NetGalley book. And I don't even know where to start. Like, I think a lot of my one of my complaints, I think, may be remedied once it's like actually published, because the formatting was awful. It's told in 3 parts, and like from 2 to 3 different perspectives. Like, the first part is 2 perspectives, then the second part's 3, and the third part's 3. And it just, the formatting was messy. And like, part of the book, it's not going to change, is the timeline jumps around. And with the formatting issues, like, there's a random untitled section. It's called Untitled, that is like not part 1 or part 2, or, it just didn't, like, it felt very jumpy, very confusing. Like I said, the timeline already like moves around, and so then having those formatting issues was really like off-putting. But so this book is told from Paula, Charlie, and Marion's perspectives. Paula and Charlie are the only 2 in the first section, and then Marion comes in. Paula is searching for her sister Lizzie's baby. So Lizzie was an alcoholic, and she was found dead after basically drinking herself to death. She had some sort of something that was a consequence of alcoholism. And her baby is gone. And so we find out maybe that her baby was kidnapped right before she died. So did somebody take her and kill her? Did something happen? We don't know. And then Paula's like not even sure, was there a baby, because the sister like tried to hide the pregnancy the whole time, plus she was drinking and not taking care of herself. And the parents were completely estranged from Lizzie because of her alcoholism, which I'll get to later. But we don't even know. Was there a baby? What's going on? Paula is trying to find out. So she teams up with her like old friend, Johnny, I think is his name. And together they're trying to find out what happened to this baby, if there was a baby. Then Charlie is a young girl who finds herself pregnant by this guy, and she emancipates herself, and it's her story. Then Marion is Lizzie's social worker, and she's got her own story going on. So that's really all I want to say about like the actual plot. But the reasons I did not like this were, one, the way the parents treated Lizzie. Like and everybody treated Lizzie like she was an alcoholic. She clearly was struggling. They treated her and talked about her like she was this terrible person, and like what a waste of a life. You know, I mean, it just kind of like she would be such a nice girl, and just like really demonized her for her alcoholism. And I didn't see anybody like going out of their way to help her. Yes, she had a social worker and things because her life was in such shambles, but like her family turned their backs, and just talked about how terrible she was because she was an alcoholic, and like how she brought this death upon herself, which somebody should have helped her. Like, what was going on? And as a mother and stuff, I'm like, alcoholism is a disease. Like, I just had a really hard time with that. The other thing that I hate in books is anytime there is an infertile woman in a kidnapping story, no matter how she's involved, she is involved, and she is criminally desperate for a baby. And that happens in this one. So I just think this is such a disservice to people who struggle with infertility. And I know I am one of them, and so I am extra sensitive to this, but I know this is something that I have talked about, not me personally, but like has been talked about in previous book clubs and things. Is like this trope of the crazy infertile lady. And infertility is hard. It's hard on your heart. It's hard on your marriage. It's hard on your finances. It's hard. Never once did I think, let's just stop and kidnap a baby. Like, just because you are going through this very, very hard thing and you want something more than anything does not mean you're willing to be a criminal for it and to do things that are so wrong. And it always happens. So I hate that trope. So that is there. And then also just the pacing was weird. The jumping around was weird. Hopefully some of that will get fixed in editing. It comes out November 23rd or 25th. I don't know, sometime the end of the month. So maybe it'll get fixed. I don't really know. Overall, I didn't love it. It's also very predictable. So I had said in the other one that predictability is not a problem for me. And it's not in this one either if it was done well, if that makes sense. Like if the rest of the book was done well, like that first book that I read was, then the predictability wouldn't be that big of a deal. But like, I'm sure just from me explaining the plot and who the people are, you can figure out how it all goes together. And it was like not only predictable, but completely unoriginal. And so didn't love that book, but I've got it done, and my NetGalley review is submitted. And so now I have knocked out all 4 of those arcs, and I feel really good about it. So thank you for watching. If you are interested in any of these, I would highly recommend The Stranger in My Bed and The Mistletoe Connection. The other 2, maybe take or leave. It's up to you. I gave that one 3 stars. Take it if you want. Maybe it'll be better after publication. I don't really know. So thank you for watching. Let me know if you're interested in any of those, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next one.